waves always roll and the wind never stops. Now this is our town, baby, you and me. It takes a little time, but soon you will see. We got clothes on the line, blowing in the breeze. The kids on the wharf, skipping rocks in the sea. The people are friendly and the children are free. Yeah, our little town is just heaven to me. This is our town, our little town. This is our town, our little town. One day it's up, the next day it's down. This is our town, our little town. Sound. Young boys driving their dad's car around. We got the prettiest girls walking around. Soon they'll be leaving this old town. We got so many leaving, yeah, chasing their dreams. Say there's nothing here, or so it seems. And they will miss it, someday they'll know. They'll want to return to the town they love so.
Good evening and welcome to this week in review. Tonight's stories include school reopens on Tuesday, September the 6th. Young drivers of Canada offer tips for drivers as kids head back to school. Update on the nomination for the Burgeo Town Council. These stories plus the BBS Playbill, Off the Rack and more coming up after this.
6 months ago, she didn't know what kidney disease was. Today, it affects every aspect of her life. Hours of dialysis don't leave much time for bedtime stories. She misses weekend camping trips. She misses family pizza night. And her daughter misses them too. Through research and patient services, the Kidney Foundation is helping to create a better life for patients and their families.
Burgeo Academy reopens for classes on Tuesday, September the 6th. Since early August, Jim Billard and Sandra Billard have been working steady to get the school prepared for the reopening. As you can see, the floors in the classrooms are sparkling clean. The hallways shine, just waiting for the students. The gym is also spick and span. All the black marks on the floor have been removed. And while we were there, Jim was finishing up with the cleaning. The public library was also part of the cleanup. Jim and Sandra did a fantastic job with this space. There is a mirror effect with this floor. You've heard it said that this floor is clean enough to eat off. Well, this floor would fit that bill. At the main office, books lie in waiting for students to purchase them. Floss has also returned to work in preparation for the big day. In the elementary school section, all but one grade will be multi-grade this year. In Miss Penny's kindergarten grade 1 class, there are 19 students. In the 2-3 class, Miss Marlene Vatcher will have 16 students. Miss Banfield will have 15 grade 4 students, and Mrs. Tucker and Mrs. Rose will have 17 grade 5 and 6 students for a total of 74 students altogether. At the high school level, there is only one multi-grade class. In Mr. Fever's own room, there will be 17 students. Miss Beverly Vatcher will have 28 students. In Level 1, or Grade 10 class, Mr. Barter will have 17 students. Miss Kendall and Miss Abbott's own room will have 23 Level 2, or Grade 11 students. In the graduating class this year, there will be 11 students. The homeroom teachers will be Miss Westwood and Miss Elliott. At the high school level, there are 48 students. The total enrollment at Burgeo Academy for September 2005 will be 162. Registrations for students will be out on Tuesday, September the 6th at 1 p.m. Teachers will return at 8:30 a.m. On Wednesday of this week, the Young Drivers of Canada sent us some safety tips as kids head back to school. With kids returning to school, drivers need to be more cautious. Close to 1,800 Canadian children and youth are hospitalized each year due to pedestrian injuries. Young Drivers of Canada offer some advice to drivers. Be aware of the school zone signage. Reduce speed in the school zones. Wait for children to complete their crossing before proceeding. Stop at least 20 meters beyond a school bus when the upper red lights begin to flash. Motorists traveling in both directions must stop for a school bus except if the road is divided by a median. If you are driving children to school, drop them off in a safe area away from traffic. Most schools have designated drop-off zones. Change lanes early for bikes. They should be treated as another vehicle by giving them ample space. Be vigilant. Many kids ride skateboards, scooters, or rollerblades on the road. Always leave in plenty of time to get to your destination. Running late can cause aggressive driving behaviors. We need to keep in mind that young children often lack the skills to make safe judgment about traffic. Children are also physically smaller, which makes it harder for drivers to see them and for them to see us. Young driver teaches that we should back in rather than out of driveways. The blind area to the rear of a vehicle is much larger than the one in the front, making it more difficult to see if there is a child behind your vehicle. Young drivers also uses a technique called ground view. As you approach any vehicle you cannot see through, look for feet of the pedestrians about to walk in front of you or the wheels of a bicycle. For more information on safe driving, visit www.youngdrivers.com to learn more about making our roads a safer place. Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
I have Huntington disease. This is my future, just 15 years from now. I will be robbed of any control of my mind and body. I will become dependent, like a child. And my son has a 50% risk of getting Huntington's from me. If he does, someday it will slowly kill him too. We must find a cure for Huntington's. Won't you help?
Mayor Ann dropped by our studio on Thursday of this week for an interview about the upcoming nominations for the Burgeo Town Council. We have with us in our studio today Mayor Alistair Ann. Welcome once again, Mayor.
How do you do, Mayor? Marie?
We're doing fine today. Nominations, we're going to be talking about Nomination Day. That's coming up on Tuesday,
Sure.
September the 6th. Nomination closes at 4 p.m. As of today, no one has come forward.
Yeah, it's true, Marie. I just left the town office there this morning. This is Thursday, I believe.
Yes, it is.
And not one nomination, and two previous councillors who have sort of shown a bit of interest. And so I thought maybe I should move over to BBS and see if I can't interest someone in running for council, because Tuesday. Nominations are over, I believe it's as of 5 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. And you know, this is a very, 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 very important and serious situation, and I think that I really would like people not to just shrug it off. It means a lot to this town to have a municipal council. It's really, really the most important thing, and I'm sure a lot of people have been listening to the radio, and the Newfoundland Labrador Federation of Municipalities has been advertising, the government has been advertising and trying to encourage people to get out there and get themselves nominated. I believe in the town of Wabana, I heard there the other day that they had something close to 20 nominations, you know. So, you know, there should be more interest in Burgeo.
Why do you think that we are here sitting at Thursday and there's no nominations? Do you think that there's really a major problem that's holding people back, or there's lack of interest? What do you think it might be?
I really don't know. You know, I think it's the proper word is apathy, which exists in this town, and for some reason, the people has got to shake themselves out of this, and we've all got to take on this civic responsibility and put our foot forward and see what can be done. You know, I'm not running anymore. It certainly is not because I haven't found council rewarding, interesting, because it certainly is. It's just a case of, you know, I am retired. I've spent 8 years there, and I'd just like to have a little bit of time now that whereby I haven't got every first and third Wednesday committed, and we do a bit of traveling and so on. But having said that, you know, everybody can certainly look and say, well, I think I deserve to give 4 years, and after that 4, maybe they'll go on and give 8. And of course, if we got that attitude existing in the town, well, then you won't be worrying about this for another 8 years. So I really do think that people should come forward.
Okay, maybe we could take them through the nomination procedure. I know the nomination procedure is not that complicated, but if we could, maybe that would set some people's mind at ease what they need to do.
Well, you know, I'm not really up that much on that, but it's been on television. All you got to do is go to the town office and have someone propose or a seconder, and you'll be given an application form. You just fill it out, and I believe it's $10 you deposit or something like that, and if you poll a certain number of votes, you get your $10 back or some such thing as that, you know. But and of course the other thing is that you've got to have all your taxes and your indebtedness to council paid up in full.
Okay.
And that is not only a commitment to run for council, you've got to maintain that while you are a councillor. If you're in debt to council for taxes, then the local government act says you must be put off the council, you know.
Okay, so when you say it has to be paid in full, it has to be paid in full by April of every year or December of every year?
Whenever taxes are due and payable, you'd have to check with the clerk on what date that is.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, you're no different than any other citizen in that regard, other than that, you know, that is a commitment. You must have your taxes paid by the time it's due and payable.
Okay. You dropped off this pamphlet a while ago called What You Need to Know Running for Municipal Government. We talked about it on our broadcast there. Could you just elaborate on that a little bit and maybe just give your opinion? I looked at it and thought it was very informative and answered some good questions.
Well, it certainly is, you know, an informative bulletin, and it was put out by the Newfoundland Labrador Federation Municipalities or the Municipal Training, MTDC or something like that. And it just tells you, you know, a little bit about council, what is required and so on. And but to me, I'll just sum it up as I see it. In order to be a councillor, all you've got to go on council or try to go on council with just one thing, that you've got no access to grind. There's no special reason for going there other than you want to do something for your town. You want to be a municipal leader, and you know that you're not there to accomplish any special thing. And I don't know just off the top of my head what I would say was, okay, let's just say that something that you've got a little piece of road and you think that should be paved, and it's not.
Okay.
So this would be your thing. Now I'm going to get on council because I want to see this piece of road paved. Well, you know, if that's the only reason you're getting on there for, well, if you should get on there, and within the first 6 months they paves that piece of road, well, that could mean, well, there's a by-election then because you've done what you want to do, so you resign from council. So, you know, not any self-interest, conflicts, or access to grind, or you want to get rid of a municipal employee. I don't like that fellow. I'm getting on council. I'm going to get him fired.
Okay.
To me, if you haven't got any of those things and you go on council with good intentions and a clean slate, and you got none of that garbage hanging you down, you'll be a good councillor, and you'll vote as you think is right or wrong, and really, you know, there's not that much to it.
Okay.
You've got your municipal administrators there. You've got the Department of Municipal Affairs. You've got a regional office in Corner Brook. Twice a year, you've got a leadership forum, which is sponsored by the Newfoundland Labrador Federation of Municipalities. Great chance for good fellowship to meet other people from other towns, some 270 to 80 towns. Then you've got the convention, which is held each fall, St. John's, Gander, Corner Brook. It varies from one place it changes from one place to the other. And again, you know, you get usually a councillor and his wife will go off to this, and it's a good fellowship. It's you get to meet other leaders, learn about other towns, and so on. I tell you, you know, it's really good to be a councillor. Make no mistake about it.
Before we started this, we talked about the importance of municipal government. Would you give us, in the event that, well, Tuesday's coming and we don't have anybody for nominations, what happens then? Like, how important is it for us to have a municipal government?
Well, see, what'll happen if we don't get any nominations, it is quite possible Department of Municipal Affairs will ask us to have another nomination, set another nomination date, and see if we can get one. Failure then to field a council, the Department of Municipal Affairs will try to appoint certain people to run our town.
Okay.
Now, if this is widespread throughout the province, and I'm just surmising this, I think what you're going to see is you're going to see regionalization.
Okay.
And what'll happen there, see, you could very well see, I would just look at this as being, in the case of Burgeo, Ramia, Grey River, Franceway, well, they don't have town council, they have local service districts, so I'll deal with the councils. Burgeo, Ramia, and possibly you could be thrown into, come under Stephenville.
Okay.
Now you've got Burgeo, possibly being governed from Stephenville.
Okay.
Now, do we want that?
Yeah.
Now, in all honesty, I throw that out.
Yeah.
The school board went.
Yeah.
And now that's from somewhere else. That's one thing. And that's pretty standardized and pretty narrowed when it comes down to education. You know, it's a format which sort of fits all, one size fits all. But when it comes down to municipal government, what suits Stephenville and what suits Corner Brook and what suits St. John's doesn't suit Burgeo. But what choice would Department of Municipal Affairs have?
That would be your worst case scenario, though.
That would be a bad one.
Yeah.
Then again, Ramia could very well elect itself a nice council, and Burgeo would come under Ramia for so long.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure the people of Burgeo certainly wants that too, don't they? And, you know, this would tear the gut right out of me.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't tear me out enough that I'd go back in, because I just think, you know, there comes a time when you've got to say enough's enough.
Okay.
But, I mean, there's more than enough qualified people out there in Burgeo to run a council. Federal governments, provincial governments, they want to work with an elected body. They duly elected. democratically elected body. They don't want to deal with the union. They don't want to deal with the lodge. They don't want to deal with the church or deal with the Lions Club or something like that. They want to deal with something that the people in that area had a say in who's sitting there. And I just bring one case in point up here now. We've heard a lot of talk about this uranium field, which has been found in Cuddled going to White Bear Bay, cutting across the Burgeo Road, and every time that this discovery has been mentioned, Burgeo is mentioned, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, if you was in mines and energy, and you know all of this stuff, and you know it's coming on stream and one thing and the other, well, who did we talk to in Burgeo about this? Do we go down and probably go to the bingo on Tuesday night and talk to the people there, or who's down in Burgeo? Well, nobody, because they haven't got any leadership down there. They don't have a council down there. They couldn't elect a council. It doesn't speak good, do it?
No.
You know, I know I'm answering some of the questions
Yes.
that I'm asking, but and some of it mightn't sound too good, you know, but it's just a case that, in my opinion, you know, that the old saying, God helps those who helps themselves. And I believe, you know, that this is a case, and I feel so confident as I walk around this town and meet people, talk to people, that there's plenty of counselors out there. It is not as complicated as you can blow it up in your own mind to be. You know, it's definitely not. I know another thing, some people says, oh, I'm no good, I can't get on television, I can't be publicly speaking. Well, perhaps you can, perhaps you can. That is not a requirement. You've got to remember that. You know, most of your, the things which gets things moving and so on is done behind closed doors. So, you know, sure, this medium here of BBS is a great medium to tell the people of Burgeo what's happening in council. But if you don't have a mayor or you don't have a councillor who feels comfortable and feels they can sit and do that, that's fine. Then the minutes of the meeting is there. The reporter here for BBS should be able to go there and give a report on what's happening at council meetings, because I do think, you know, that it should be got out. And I know in a lot of towns they have what they call a news bulletin, which they put in the post office quarterly or monthly or something like that, which highlights the main points. And again, in the day of computers, I'm sure you could go in on a web page and people could access the Burgeo so-and-so and pick it up from there. So you know, this should not be a stumbling block for someone who feels that, well, I'm no good for this, I'm no good for that. But I really do think that people should come forward, and you know, I really can't impress upon you enough to get out there before 5 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. And well, tomorrow is Monday, and I believe that's Labor Day, so that you can't get nominated that day. But Tuesday morning, I'd like to see a lineup from the town office to the federal building. You have to pick a number to get in and get nominated. That's not going to happen, but it would be nice.
Well, it would be nice to see.
There is no limit, you know.
That would be for an election.
That would be for an election.
That is the proper way of doing it. In the event that there's only, what is the minimum number of councillors that our town council can operate with?
Now that I'm not sure, but I assume it would be 4.
Okay.
5 certainly would give you a quorum, but you couldn't operate with less than 4, because you can't even hold a meeting with less than 4.
Okay.
So, you know, the 7 is a full slate of councillors. 3, like if we had a council meeting called for tonight, and only 3 councillors turns up, well, you can't hold a meeting on account of you don't have a quorum. So you would need 4 at least, and so let's hope we get 4. But that's
pretty
you know,
minimal.
That's not
Yeah.
being very healthy.
Okay.
No, certainly not.
And of course you've made it quite clear that you're not going to put your name forward for nomination. So what's in the future for Alice Duran?
Oh. Well, you know, I'm not going to put my back on council again. Like I say, I've done pretty good since I retired, between the IAS committee, the zone board, the council, and but you know, as I walk around the town and one thing and the other, even though I may go off council, and I see certain things or some silly ideas comes in my head or something like that, I'm going to speak to the town manager and pass that silly idea on, or one of the councillors. I'll continue to do that, and if they says, well, we don't need any of your ideas, well, that'll be fine. I'll walk away and that'll be the end of that. But I don't think the council's going to say that. If anybody got an idea, I know I wouldn't have told anybody who, in the last 8 years, if they came with an idea to me that that's silliness and I don't want to hear it. And I don't think any council that's going to be there is going to be like that. That's one thing. The other thing is, I have been recently appointed to the Rural Secretariat by Minister Dunderdale. There was 350 nominations to the Rural Secretariat, and I was very pleased that I was chosen to be on the Secretariat, the Rural Secretariat, the Port of Bass Stephenville Rural Secretariat it's called. And so, you know, given that, I know that being on that council, that rural council, and according to the Premier and according to the Minister Dunderdale, that this is going to be the medium through which they're going to try to revitalize rural Newfoundland and so on. So I'll be happy to be playing a part there, but it's going to be more difficult if you don't have a council to work with. I know just as sure as, well, we're supposed to start to get up and running in the month of October. And I feel most certain that whatever happens there, that there's going to be an association with council, you know, and council bringing things on and so on, you know, that to get things to move, you're going to have council behind you, you know, and I just look forward to now taking this on, see what it's going to do. Maybe it'll do nothing, but that's nothing. I've done those things before too. But I really would, my biggest concern now is our municipal government here in Burgeo. I think municipal government has taken a high profile in Burgeo. I think we're a very high profile council, to tell you the truth, all over this province. And at the Newfoundland Labrador Federation municipalities, I can assure you that the Burgeo is known. I can guarantee anyone that. And so, therefore, I think that it would be great if the young people, I say, nothing wrong with, and I'll stop there because most people's interpreting that I'm talking to the male gender. There's lots of room for females on council. They're good workers, good thinkers. My dealing with women, once you give them a job to do, they do it. You know, they're not procrastinators, and I'll do that tomorrow and the next day. You find a lot of that among men, me included. But there's lots of room for a female on council, 2, 3, 4, what have you. Nothing wrong with a female mayor and so on, but I really, really do hope that we get a council. I certainly do.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, other than to say that, you know, if to the people who's considering it, I feel most certain that if you go on council, after you finish your term, that you will say that it was gratifying and you're glad that you went there. There's misconceptions, you know, there's certain things that you say, oh, I might have to do this with my neighbor, or this or that. And that's not true. You know, council's got rules, we got policies, we got all kinds of things, you know, like for instance, well, so-and-so's water got shut off today. Well, but he's going to get mad at me for that. No, he's not going to get mad with you. Because whether I'm on council, you're on council, John Dole's on council, doesn't really matter because the rules is there, the employees has got their rules, follow the rules. So, you know, this is not Marie shutting off someone's water. It's not Councillor so-and-so taking so-and-so to court. It's not this or that. These are rules that, you know, who's there, Blaine, Stan, has got to carry out the rules. And it's just like the police officer. He doesn't make the rules. He doesn't write the criminal code or anything like that. But he's got to carry out what the criminal code says. I mean, you don't have Bill Matthews coming down and getting aboard of a boat and going out and catching someone for fishing out of season or stuff like that. These guys make the rules. The officers are put in place with the same things with council. So that local issue, you know, that oh, you'll be up for this, and somebody's not going to like you, and the things you got to do. There's nothing you got to do. There's nothing you got to do like that. I mean, you're a government, and very gratifying, and I think anybody who goes on there with the right attitude, they won't regret it.
Okay. Well, we certainly thank you for stopping by and giving us your insight to council. We congratulate you on your appointment to the Rural Secretariat, and we look forward maybe sometime down the road hearing from you on that.
Oh, me and Minister Dunnerdale will be here one of those days.
Wonderful. Well, we
Okay.
certainly look forward to it.
Okay, fine.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
On Friday of this week, we contacted the town office to see if anyone had come forward to be nominated for the Burgeo Town Council. Earlier this week, we spoke to Stan Kosser at the town office about how the nominations were coming along. To that point, there wasn't any. We then contacted most of the councillors to ask if they would be putting their name forward for nominations. Alistair Ann had already informed the public on many occasions that he would not be running this term. Mr. Norman Marsden announced at a recent council meeting that he would not be returning. John Krant will not be seeking nominations this term either. We also spoke to George Reed, Dave McDonald, Cyril Warren, and Junior Strickland. They were all undecided as of Wednesday, August the 30th. On Friday of this week, we contacted Stan once again for an update. As of late Friday afternoon, there were still no nominations for the Burgeo Town Council. Stan did inform us that this is quite normal. In previous years, most people seeking to be nominated didn't fill out their nomination papers until the last day, and in some cases, the last hour. If you are considering offering your name for nomination, please remember that nomination closes at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, September the 6th. Please seriously consider running for council. Your town needs you. Back in October 1990, BBS did a video featuring some of the older homes in Burgeo. We thought it would be interesting to show this video once again. Some of these homes have been taken down and others have been renovated and have taken on a new look. How many of these homes have been taken down?
My house is no mansion, but it still holds my treasures, things that will never be sold. There's few things in this world that just can't be measured by money, by silver and gold. And my house is filled with the things that I love, from her smile in the morning to her soft goodnight hug, her whisper, her laughter, everything that she does. And my house is filled with the things that I love. This old bed that we sleep on don't have satin covers, but it holds some great memories. No decorations can make better lovers. In her arms I feel like a king. And my house is filled with the things that I love, soft goodnight hush, her whisper, her laughter, everything that she does. And my house is filled with the things that I love. Yes, my house is filled with the things that I love.
Stay with us for Off the Rack and the BBS Playbill, all after this. Off the Rack. This week, as we scanned our tape rack, we came across a tape of when the BBS satellite dishes received a new look. Some cartoon characters. Let's look back to August the 20th, 1995.
The satellite dishes outside the BBS office have taken on a somewhat different look. A few weeks back, we showed you footage as Brad Sims started painting the first of the 3 satellite dishes outside our office. Since then, Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd have appeared on the middle dish, and Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote have taken up residence on the third, giving the 3 satellite dishes a whole new look.
And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. For This Week in Review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night and God bless.